Welcome! In this video, you will learn how to find good sources on the internet. Let's dive in. Unfortunately, there are no hard and fast rules that make a source good or bad. You have to use your judgment and know what you are doing. You should look for the following characteristics to judge if an internet source is good or not. For example, is there an author listed? If there is, you can investigate that person and see if they are qualified to write about their subject. Similarly, if the author has credentials, which are work experience and education that qualify them to write about their topic, that is a very good sign. Sometimes there isn't an author listed. That doesn't necessarily mean that the source is bad. What you have to do in those situations is evaluate the publisher of the information, the organization behind the website. Evaluate the website. Is it legitimate or not? For example, the Mayo Clinic website is a legitimate website for health information. If you find something on the Mayo Clinic website, but it does not have a specific author listed, the source is probably fine because the publisher is highly respected. Another good sign is if the article is reviewed or edited before publication. One more thing to look at is the spelling and grammar. Is it good or are there errors? If there are errors, you should be suspicious. The publication date is another good indicator. A very old publication date might mean that the information is out of date. This is more important in fields that change rapidly, like science and medicine. Finally, if the article has a references list or provides links to other sources, that is a good sign too. You should not use personal blog posts for this project. A blog post is someone's personal opinion, and the author is usually not an expert. In addition, the author might just be biased or simply incorrect. If you find something interesting in a blog, you should see if you can find that same information in a reliable source. If that information is correct, you should not have difficulty finding it in a more reliable scholarly source. All right, let's look at two examples of websites. Our first example is from Psychology Today. If you don't know much about a website, I recommend Googling it. I will put Psychology Today inside quotation marks and search for it. We can easily find out that it's a media organization that began as a print magazine in 1967. That's a good start. You can see that we have an author and a date of publication. That's great. Let's find out more about this author. She has her PhD in psychology and she has a book about beauty and appearance. She is probably an expert on the topic of media and self-esteem. Let's go back to the article. Finally, if you look at the article itself, you can see that the author links to other sources, including a research study from a university in Australia. All in all, I would say this is a great source. You may notice that the URL has the word blog in it, but that is fine. This is not a personal blog, but a digital magazine. It just happens to have the word blog in its URL. Let's look at another website. This is a very lovely, professional-looking website. It also has a very recent publication date. So far, so good. However, we can see that the website's tagline is an eco-friendly travel blog. What does eco-friendly travel have to do with self-esteem? Not much. Then we have a message from the author. She says, "Thanks for stopping by my blog, where with humor and sarcasm, I share my travel experiences." So this is clearly a blog, which is not an allowed source for this project. In addition, in her About Me section, she does not mention any education or work experience that would qualify her to write on her subject. I am not saying that what she has written is wrong or bad. However, this is just not a good source to use for a college-level research project. In this case, you should look for the same information from a more reliable, authoritative source. Google Scholar can also be a great resource for finding authoritative scholarly sources for your projects. There are some tips and tricks to using Google Scholar most effectively and efficiently, however, so I strongly recommend that you visit the research guide on the library's website and watch the section under Finding Internet Sources so that you know how to use Google Scholar responsibly and ethically. And there is one last trick I would like to show you. When you are doing a regular Google search, you can type in your search terms, add the word site, SITE, :edu. Hit enter and see what happens. Every result has a .edu domain. That means it's associated with a verified educational institution. These sources are going to be a little bit more reliable than doing a general internet search. I hope this helps. Please let me know if you have any questions, and be sure to watch the other videos.